everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys know who it is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. Pretend City Rocks or Rock and Metal Thrive. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is 420. And yes, I am not smoking because I do not smoke. Not going to get high today. Sorry, guys. But I am going to bring you an incredible guest today. So my guest in the podcast today comes all the way from El Paso, Texas. The band Texas Taliban, a brand new band that really has that thrash metal, groove metal, heavy metal style that, honestly, if you like metal of any sorts, you're going to love. Their brand new EP, Runs on Hate, is available now. And again, link description in the podcast below. So please welcome the lead guitarist, Erich, to the podcast. This one is fun. It flows incredibly well. It is a little bit shorter than our normal podcast, but you know what? You'll enjoy it all the same. So are you guys ready? Let's go! Yeah! Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast, if you like metal, then my God, do I have something for you today. Thanks to our connection through the band Blitzkrieg and their PR firm, shout out to Blitzkrieg as well. They got us in contact with these guys, and yes, metal is the name of the game. So please welcome all the way from El Paso, Texas, Erich from the band Texas Taliban. So Erich, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Thank you very much, man. It's good to be talking to you, and I appreciate the time to talk with me, man. This is pretty cool.
Hey, I appreciate you being on the podcast. I appreciate being able to hear your music, and your brand new EP, Runs on Hate, again, comes out April 9th. So by the time the podcast comes out, yes, it will already be available. And if you're watching a YouTube video, you'll see on the bottom it says Runs on Hate available now. Yeah, so you don't have any shot at missing the fact that it is available.
Right on. Sounds good.
So, Erich, before we get started, I always ask the guests in the podcast 3 initial questions to get going, to get everyone to get to know you a little bit better. The first 2, very, very easy, very nice. The last one puts you on the spot and is my absolute favorite. So I want to know, 1, what is your name? 2, in the band Texas Taliban, what do you do? And the third is my favorite. I want to know a fun fact or a wacky story about yourself, but I always like to hear the craziest, potentially most mess up ones that'll make me laugh and fall out of my chair. Every time I ask this, I end up just laughing hysterically at whatever these bands that I have in the podcast, or guys in the podcast, girls in the podcast, throw at me. So I'm always ready for it. So Erich, take it away.
All right. Name's Erich King. I play lead guitar for Texas Taliban. Do the writing right now, getting everything going. And man, a weird, messed up story. You know what? I got one when I was in one of my previous bands. We used to use a lot of DIY, like pyro, and like we made flash pods on gunpowder, where we basically like trip a circuit, and cause a little short circuit that landed on gunpowder and made that go out. And we would do a lot of like fire spitting and stuff like that. And God, this was a while back, but one of the shows, I think it might have been a couple weeks after Whitesnake lit some club on fire with their pyro. I think a couple weeks after that, I did the fire breathing inside this club, and the fire would hit the roof and spread. Looks really cool, except after about the 5th time, the roof just caught on fire. It's like in the middle of a song, we're just all looking at the ceiling, and the damn thing was just lit, man. It wouldn't turn off. We're just kind of like, oh shit, like what the hell are we gonna do now? So we're kept the show going, but we're kind of looking at each other and looking at where the exit was. This building we were at, like the door was kind of right off to the side of the stage, so we were making sure that we had like a clear shot at that exit. But after a few seconds, the fire kind of went out, and we were like, oh damn, glad, because that could have been really, really bad.
Well, especially
go ahead.
I was gonna say, especially with it happening a couple of weeks after that one incident. And I gotta ask, was this around like 2002, 2003 that this happened? Because I don't think it was Whitesnake that set that club on fire. I think you're talking about the incident with Great White.
Oh, Great White. Yeah, you're right. That's the one. I get those the white bands confused. But yeah, you're right. It was them.
I mean, it's understandable. I mean, they both have white in the name. They both kind of played around the same time, the same style of music. So it makes sense. No big deal. It's just, I
Yeah,
remember in my head, I want to make sure it was correct so that everyone listening kind of has an idea of like, okay, during after like one of the worst club disasters in music
right.
history, and like a couple weeks later, you guys try and do the same thing. And luckily, nothing bad happened.
Yeah, it was scary as hell, man. We used to do that thing with the flash pods at different clubs, and I remember at another place we went out, we had them set up, and we had this long, dark, spooky sounding intro, and right when the first beat to the music would come out, we'd hit those pods, and shit, man, we were ready to play. We had our intro going off. Music's about to start. We hit the pods. We cause the circuit breakers to the breakers trip, man. So everything just goes out. We're like, shit, this sucks. So we're like, all right, man, take two. We set everything back up. Tried it again. Same exact thing happened again. And we're just like, you know what? Screw the intro, screw the flash pods. Let's just play. And we just, played. And our guy, our light guy that was trying to get everything going, he wanted to try it again, once for the middle of the show. And he found like a different breaker, hooked up everything to a different outlet. And yeah, we caused a blackout at the club halfway through our set too. So yeah, these things happen, man. You have so many technical difficulties, and I don't recommend it to anybody to do the DIY flame and pyro stuff. It's just not worth it. It's scary as hell. I'd probably still do it, but I don't recommend anybody else do it because, damn, man, a lot of shit can go wrong.
That was gonna be my next question. To this day, are you still doing DIY pyro? And then when can you get back? And when you are able to get back on stage with Texas Taliban, are you guys be doing DIY pyro, or is it be like, nah, we're gonna hold off on that one?
No, this was another band that we used to do. We used to have a lot of stage props, and as a matter of fact, I got this shirt on right now. It's a Catastrophe. It's like an industrial metal goth style band, and a lot of what we did was show. We used a lot of fake blood and flames and lights and smoke, and it was pretty crazy. Texas Taliban, though, we're pretty much just straight up metal. It's like in my previous bands, I used to do a lot of of the behind the scenes stuff and sing and play guitar and write. And in this band, I'm just focused strictly on the guitar playing, which frees me up to do a lot of stuff, man. It's nice to not be just in front of the mic, and have to stay there because have to sing and stuff. Now with the guitar, little wireless pack, and I'm just all over the place. It's fun. I enjoy it a little bit more, man. I messed around with so many different types of music and instruments that it's nice to be on my guitar, just my guitar, and I've neglected her for quite some time now, and it's good to just be playing. It's just something I've always loved. It's my favorite instrument, so it feels good.
That's good to hear that you're able to get into it and just kind of get more freedom within your live set based on the fact that you only have to play guitar. So especially with the wireless pack on it, because I've seen some guitars, especially when live shows were a big thing, and I was going to a show what felt like twice a week back in late 2019, just seeing
Right.
how all these different bands were consistently moving around. And especially, I mean, not only just the person that's singing to the front behind the mic, it's seeing how everyone else in the band is interacting, especially the guitar players, is because you have the freedom to move around and you're able to help create the energy that is needed to create the show that you guys want to create, especially given the music that you're playing.
Right. One of the things I've always liked about bands that I go see is that they put on a show. They perform, and not only are they spot on the music, but they put on a performance, and they put a little effort into how they look, what they do, not just staring there, on stage, staring at their fretboard, just throughout the stage, not moving. That's kind of always been a pet peeve of mine. And I'm guilty of doing it too, but I really try to practice where I'm not just staring at my fingers. I want to interact with everybody and the more you get the crowd going, the more it gets you going. So to me, it's important, to put the effort into it, man. There's like, I've seen bands on stage wearing like flip flops and stuff like that. And I'm like, why? That's what I use when I wash my car. Why are you going to do that on stage? Put a little effort into it. It always makes the show a little bit fun. And, the crowds, they appreciate when you go out of your way for them. And it's cool, man. This with the band we have now, the dynamic, Chris is a good front man. He's pumped, man. That dude just moves around and he gets everybody going. And the other members of the band too, they're just like, incredible, man. We have a good dynamic with these guys, and we can't wait to get this live, man. This isn't so much about the pyro or anything like that. It's just, we just want to use the music to pound people, and
Yeah.
These last practices we've had, it sounds that way. It's definitely heading that direction. So we're just trying to keep that momentum going. So when we hit, our live dates, it's gonna pay off. Can't wait.
See, now that what you just said there makes me excited due to the fact that when I go and see live shows for myself, the bands I'm primarily seeing are either bands that are in the hard rock area, the punk rock area, or metalcore. And ever since like 2017 and I got pushed in my first mosh pit, it was like baptism by fire, basically. And now every show I go to, if there's going to be a chance for a mosh pit inducing time, I'm going to be there at the forefront of it because it's just the energy that drives off it. But also the band also has a lot to do with it as well, because I've seen shows where, you could easily have that, but all of a sudden the band on stage is kind of just doing that same thing. They're staying around. The guitar players, bass players looking at the fretboard, lead singer not really moving around a lot. And it's just like, you have the music to really create this absolutely energetic show, but your kind of actions on stage at times really don't match that, and it kind of brings the energy of the crowd down. I've seen it other times where all of a sudden bands just induce these kind of mosh pits with their music, and all of a sudden the bands see the energy that these fans are having. All of a sudden the band's energy ends up getting amped up, and then all of a sudden it's like the fans and the band are always trying to one up each other every step of the way with overall energy. So by the time the end of the show comes, I mean, in the pit, literally everyone seems like they're trying to kill each other, but it's like the most organized, chaotic thing in the world, and the band's loving it because they're seeing all the energy from the fans. They've got all the energy rolling, and by the end of the night, everyone's like in this state of euphoria because you went through this super duper energetic time and you had the most fun in the world. And the band on stage is probably thinking the same thing. They had an incredible amount of fun because all of a sudden they're playing, they got all this energy, and they're watching us in the crowd going absolutely apeshit on each other.
Right. That is the best feeling in the world, and that's how I feel it is. With the previous band, it was like industrial music and stuff like that. So it had its energy, but there's nothing like just metal, nothing to get the adrenaline going. And you feed off the crowd, and you have to put it out there. You have to put it out there for the crowd. I mean, they took the time and the effort to go check you out. Paid money, probably not to see you or the band that you're opening for, but they're sticking around, and anything short of giving 100% on stage, blood, sweat, and tears. If by the time you're done playing, if you're not covered in sweat and you're not hurting, you didn't do your best. I'm sorry, but that's the way I see it, man. You got to put it out there, and the crowd gets it. They get into it, and I've always been like that. It's not about the gear. It's not about what you have on stage. The people in the front, they don't care what kind of amp or pedals you've got on. They just want to see you go crazy. And when you see them going shit, it's the best thing ever. So that's what I'm about. That's me. I'm one of those kids that used to feed off the bands when I would see them, watch them play, and that's what I want to do. That's what I want to give. Nothing short of that. The music is good. You want to hear it perfectly, get the CD. That's how it is with a lot of bands, a lot of black metal bands. You see this image of them and they look all badass with their swords and all that stuff. And then, you see them live and it's kind of short, falls a little short because you have this image built up in your head of what, their pictures and the photos are like. But, you see them live, it's just like, there's no swords, there's no horses or castles or, what the hell. And some bands do bring it though, and those are the ones that, the ones that put the effort into it, that even if the music's not that great, you can see guys when they're putting it into it, and I respect the hell out of that, because they're doing it, they're doing their thing, and that's, to me, that's important, man. You got both the show and the music going for you, then it's going to be a win-win. Crowd's going to appreciate it, and I mean, I always try to put out what I want to go see, and the experience overall, so that's me personally. And I know, a couple of guys in the band feel the same way, they want to give it their all. It's what we do, man. It's we're not happy if we're not doing this, and we love music, but we love being on stage, and I like recording. I love documenting everything we're doing, but there's nothing like being on stage, man. But it's just you just got to give it your all. That's what we want to do. That's what we're here to do.
And that's the perfect mindset to have, is give the energy that you would want to see when you were in the crowd, and give the energy that you that you would expect from some of these bands. Because I mean, I've seen bands before where it's like, okay, it's you see their music videos, you listen to music, and you're expecting something grand, something spectacular. And like when you go see them, at times you just watch it, it's like, okay, it falls short. There have been other times too where I've gone to shows, and all of a sudden it's like, the reason I was going was to see a certain band. And a perfect example was back in 2019. I was going to a show specifically because I wanted to see Light the Torch, because I wanted to see Howard Jones perform. That was my specific reason for going. And they were one of the openers. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I'll stick around for the middle band and the headliner as well. The middle band was Fit for a King. And I'm like, holy shit, now I'm in a Fit for a King just because of that, like the energy they had on stage. Follow that up with the headliner being Ice Nine Kills. And I'm like, what the hell am I getting myself into? And from that show, I'm like, this is one of my favorite bands of all time right here, just by the energy and the stage performance, everything about it. So when you're talking about that, you're going to be playing shows, and people aren't going to be going there specifically to see you, but with that energy, with that thought process of, I want to make sure that I give the energy that people would want, that I'd want to see if I was in the crowd, and that people want to have with my music. If you take that mindset, you're going to be a band that they remember after that show. And after listening to the Runs on Hate EP, it just listening to the titular song, I'm thinking, my God, can I just have live shows come back again? Because this song, literally right when it hit, I'm just thinking, all right, when this song hits, I'm pretty much going head first in that mosh pit. And if I get whacked in the head, I don't care. I'm going to be a happy man.
Right, man. That's cool. Thank you. That's how it feels. There's music that I listen to now that I just, the first thing I want to do is like, I'll be sitting down, or I just want to stand up and, just run around the room myself, and that's the important thing. The music moves you, and even if it, how can I say, man, like, I've seen some bands that don't have like maybe that crazy energy, like, say like Chelsea Wolfe, right? Saw her play, and just the way she came out, all the smoke, very ominous, but the sound that she put out, it was so heavy, like one of the heaviest bands I've heard live. And that moved me, man. It just made me, want to go ape shit too. Even though the music doesn't call for mosh pit, I just wanted to throw people around. It's what it does. Music's supposed to move you. It's supposed to, invoke some kind of emotion from you, energy, or just, let out your frustrations or whatever. It's why I like playing it. It just helps me release everything, man. You go to show, drink some beers, and slam into people. It's just like it's a good stress reliever, man. You're there, and people are pretty cool about it. And every single pit I've ever seen, people are beating shit out of each other, and somebody goes down, everybody helps them up, man. It's that camaraderie, and that's the thing, man. It's the metal camaraderie. You don't see it in a lot of other scenes. You see it, unfortunately, not as much as you want to, but that's what this is about, just getting that sentiment and putting it on CD or record, and bringing it to the live show. It's what we want to do. Everything, for how we feel about it, like I mentioned, it's all about this show we want to see. And man, it's if we weren't playing it, we'd want to see it, and be in the pit and get beat up and drunk, and that's the best thing about it. It's fun.
Yeah, and I think on the EP as well, specifically the first 4 songs, I want to make sure I get the names right. Runs on Hate, Expect No Mercy, Supremacy, and America. Emeric. I want to make sure everyone gets the right spelling of that. When I listen to those songs, that's the feeling I get where all of a sudden I could easily be at one of your live shows, and all of a sudden people are going to have that energy. People are going to have that just passion, that emotion, and the pit's going to be going absolutely crazy. But it's going to be one of those pits where all of a sudden, yeah, people are going to look like they're beating up on each other. It's going to look like chaos, but it's an organized chaos. It's a controlled kind of chaos, because when someone falls down, you're going to have 3 or 4 people right there to pick them up. Hell, I've seen multiple times in mosh pits with crazy things happen. I've got knocked down before, and then someone got tripped up and went head first into my head, and I started bleeding profusely. I had 3 people come pick me up, and the guy was saying, "Oh my God, I'm sorry." And I noticed how bad I was bleeding. I just looked at the guy and said, "Get me the fuck out of here." And the reason wasn't because I was mad at him. It's because I'm bleeding. I don't want to bleed over everybody else. And I'm like, "You're my guy now. Get me out of here."
Right.
Or this is probably the weirdest one I've seen, the craziest one, where I was seeing, who was it? Seeing my favorite band. I was seeing Rise Against, and mosh pit was going nuts. All of a sudden, some guy falls down. His glasses fall. And he picks them up, and one of the lenses is missing. And all of a sudden, he says something. I don't know how many people heard it, but all of a sudden, it was like someone just yelled, "Stop the pit." Everyone stopped. Everyone took like 3 steps back. And the guy that yelled it out and the guy that had the glasses, they were searching around the floor trying to find the lens.
Wow,
after 15 seconds, they found it. The guy popped it back in, and after he popped it back in, he just shrugged his shoulder. He said, "Okay." And then everyone just ran right back in the middle. But it's just the craziest thing where all of a sudden just, you have that energy, you have that passion in your music, and it evokes that emotional response, but also evokes like this communal response as well, to the point where if something bad happens in that pit, everyone's going to be rushing to that person to get them picked up. If there is a problem and a person gets hurt and they can't get up, there's going to be like 10 guys that like form a circle around them. So if the pit's still going, people are going to be bouncing off these big burly guys, and whoever's on the floor potentially need to get medical attention, they're not going to be taking any hits.
Right. Yeah, that's cool, man, that they were able to stop the pit for that. Glasses are expensive these days, and the fact that everybody was willing to just like, hey, time out, let's get this guy's lens back. That was really cool. That's important. I've lost keys and a wallet in a pit before, and it's just the people, man. I've got them both back, luckily, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, we've done that too with wallets, because all of a sudden we found wallets or phones, and all of a sudden we start chanting like wallet, just so if someone lost it, all of a sudden you're hearing these people chant wallet, and you're gonna look over there and you're gonna wonder, what the hell are they chanting? Okay, they're chanting wallet. Is that my wallet? And there's someone holding up your wallet, and then you get it back, and everyone's just like, "Yeah, we did it! Woo!"
Yep. That's true. That's a good feeling, man. It's like, yeah. And that's how it is, man. Everybody's like brothers there. You might not like the same bands or, have the same ideas politically or whatever, but when you're there, you're all metal brothers. It's kind of cliche to say, but that's what it's like. Damn, one of the last shows I went to, I think, before this pandemic was a Voivod, and it was crazy there. I saw a lot of young kids, a lot of older kids. Older kids, sorry. Men, me being one of them, man, some old schoolers there. It was crazy, but everybody in that pit, everybody at the front, they were brothers for that moment, man, and that's a thing of beauty. It's for the duration of the show, for the duration of the band. It's just that it's going on, and best things, man. The shows you go to that end up being more like experiences, that's what's the best experience of everything.
Oh, absolutely, it is the best experience. Everything. There is nothing better than just, because like you said, you could have different religious beliefs, different political beliefs, just different views on life, everything. You could be the two most completely polar opposite people. But when you're at that show, All that matters is the fact that you both want to see that band that's on stage perform live, and you have a positive emotional response to that band's music. And even if, again, you're the two most polar opposite people in the world at a metal show, at a rock show, hard rock, punk rock, metalcore, any subgenre of metal and rock, you can become friends all based off of that. It is one of the most incredible things in the world. It is one of the most underrated things in the world. And the fact that the pandemic has taken away live shows for us for over a freaking year at this point has it's been a huge miss. And there's been a lot of people that have been struggling with stress, with mental health, that if live shows were able to come back right away, I guarantee you, especially people that are really connected to music, a lot of those people would get the help they need because they're going to be going to live shows again. They're going to be experiencing that once again. They're going to experience the family, the camaraderie, the happiness, the joy, the like ecstasy of happiness and emotion that potentially, I mean, your music could save lives at this point.
Yeah, it's weird, but that you mentioned that mental health it's important, man. You need, we're social animals, and you go to metal show or any show really, and you end up running across people that you haven't seen, in a really long time. And just it's a good thing, man. We need that as humans. We need that as musicians. We need to get back to how things work, because man, it's life sucks without shows. It really, really does. It's everything's shut down, but man, you really feel it though with the music though, because it's like you can't, I couldn't imagine going to a show where they enforce like social distancing. Who the hell wants to go to a show where you're like so far apart from each other? It's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, I know back in like October of 2020 here in Wisconsin, up about an hour north of me, they're doing a drive-in show, and there was a local metalcore band here in Milwaukee, and the headliner that was doing the show was Beartooth. And I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. And it was a drive-in show. I'm like, I love the idea. However, am I able to get in like a mosh pit in a bed of a truck with like 5 or 6 people? Because otherwise, like, I can't, like, I can't sit in my car and just watch Beartooth live and not want to get into a demolition derby with all the other cars.
Right. Yeah. Get in your car and start a pit up. That's, probably not a good idea. There's some bands that you do actually want to watch in a setting that you're like sitting down, and not necessarily metal, but, well, actually there are probably some metal bands you wouldn't mind seeing like that. But, for the most part, there's a lot of bands out there that I guess they could have probably gone away with it, but still, everything shut down. The bar shut down, the restaurant, everything shut down. It's just kind of sucks, man. I'm glad we're like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel now, hopefully. And I hope everybody's just still being careful out there, man. That way we just get over this, get rid of it, and I know our lives are going to be different from here on out, but man, we could eradicate this damn thing. Let's bring everything back, to how it used to be, even better, because that's going to be crazy, man, when you think about it, because there's going to be a lot of hungry bands out there. They're going to want to hit the road. And that's going to be one of the best things to come out of this, is that there's going to be so many tours this next year and the year after that. It's going to be crazy.
So then Eric, I gotta ask you this question with that statement, when it comes to Texas Taliban, what are you guys planning on doing when it comes to getting out on the road, playing live shows, especially with the release of the new EP? Remember, everybody, the name of the EP is Runs on Hate. So any plan right now? Have you guys played a live show at all together? Because I know this is the debut EP for the band. So what's in the works right now?
You know what? COVID hit right as we were recording, so we have not had a chance to play live. It's besides practicing, and right now we're just getting our live set down so that we can bring it. But we had a couple offers for some tours, and right now we're kind of waiting on it because tours are still getting rescheduled. They've been rescheduled once, then they come out with new dates, and that's getting rescheduled again. So we're kind of like, wait a minute, let's just, we don't want to wait too long. We want to catch it right as it comes in, but like our singer, he's got another band. They played out a few times. We were not quite there yet as far as like our practicing goes. We're practicing every week, getting everything down. Soon as I'd give it about maybe a month or two, we're gonna have everything 100%, and by that time we'll be ready to go. We have one show set up right now, Death Fest. I believe we have that one set up, and that's in August. I think it was in August, or they may have moved it, but that one we have set up. And other than that, we're just waiting for the next we get. We're going to do some regional stuff, here and there, but we won't jump on tour until a big state nationwide thing, until we have something good in the works, that everything's going to be planned. Because it sucks to make all your plans and get your time off from work, and get everybody on the same page. And then all of a sudden, you have to reschedule everything, and it kind of, it's hard to get everyone on the same page as far as like that, and so we're kind of just making sure that the one we do is going to be the one that's going to be worth it, in the long run for everybody.
I was going to say, I absolutely understand that. One question I want to ask, though, is...
Sorry.
One question I want to ask is, when that live show that you talked about that was already on the books right now, where is that going to be? Because when you said where it was going to be, the audio kind of glitched on. I want to make sure everyone listening knows where that's going to be at.
That's the Toledo Death Fest up in Ohio. I'm trying to see if I can remember the date on that. I think it was in August, but I'm not sure. That one got rescheduled once also. So I'd have to look up the date. I'll get the date for you, and I'll let you know before we're done.
Alrighty, because when it comes to the August date, especially if it's going to be in Ohio, I know incarceration is still going on at some point in July in Ohio, so it seems like August, if it is an August date, it seems like that would probably be more concrete. And then seeing what's going on with some other shows as well. I know Blue Ridge Rock Festival over in Virginia, they got the go-ahead to go in middle of September. I think Riot Fest is getting the go-ahead at some point, at least for middle of September. So we'll see what happens there, but I know you potentially have to go on to another call in a little bit, so I want to touch on some of the music first before I forget, because, again, brand new EP, Runs on Hate, comes out on April 5th, so when this podcast comes out, everybody, you will be able to listen to it right then and there. So I do want to talk about it a little bit with the inspiration behind it, but specifically, I got to talk about the song Tu Re Muerto. I think I said that right, because I listened to that one, and it definitely is completely different than the other four. So what was the inspiration behind this one? Because when it came to that, heavy, like that heavy metal, thrash metal kind of style, this one really starts out different.
That was like one of those happy accidents, originally that one wasn't meant for this project. We were just in the studio, and we're just listening to tracks. I'm showing Chris Singer some tracks, and I'm like, hey, check this out. What do you think of this style? We're still trying to find ourselves and what style we want to do and incorporate. And he heard that, and he's all, no, we got to check this one out. We got to work on this. And I'm like, well, that's kind of, like a little rough draft of just something else. It was supposed to be like a lot more doomy and sludgy. And we polished it up. He recorded some vocals on it. Then we polished it up some more. And it was just supposed to be kind of like a one-off thing, not necessarily for this project, but after he sang on it, we're like, you know what, this fits perfect with what we're doing, because it's like we're keeping ourselves metal, that thrash vein, that Texas style, but at the same time, we don't want to just limit ourselves to, we're not going to be able to play anything out of the box. We want to be able to do whatever the hell we want. And if it includes songs like that, I think the song worked well. I like it, might not be something we might do live for a while, because it, trying to keep all the energy going on stage and then bust out with something like that, it's kind of like, don't want to bring everybody down from that high, but, it's it's a good song, man. We're really proud of the way it came out, and we have a video coming out for it also the same day as the release that Chris, the singer, also worked on, and it came out pretty good, man. It's awesome. The theme fits the music and fits his lyrics well, and it's pretty good. That also is going to leave the door open for us for like our next recording if we want to mess with another song like that. Do something maybe sludgier, doomier, or acoustic, or just don't want to just be keep ourselves in one box, man. We want to be able to do whatever we want, but we do prefer the heavy and the fast stuff, but not necessarily like blast beats throughout. There's a lot of bands doing that stuff, which I love to death, but that's for us. We want to just keep it kind of middle of the road, good headbanging, moshing songs with the riffs, and keep it there. And hopefully what we're doing works out, man, because we're proud of it. It's something took us a while, and this pandemic fucked everything up, and we worked hard on it, and we're just hoping that everybody likes it, as much as we do, because we like the way everything came out on it. Particularly those first 4 songs, it's more my style, even though I wrote the other one as well, man. I prefer, I'm a guitarist. I want to do the acoustic thing all the time, but I'm open for it. It's fun to do, so I don't care. Maybe we'll do an unplugged set of everything one of these days, and that'll fit right in there.
Yeah, well, when I was gonna say, when I was going through the whole entire EP, especially those first 4 songs, again, it was definitely had that like thrash metal, groove metal, heavy metal, just again head banging, mosh pit inducing kind of feel to it. But when I got to Tu Re Muerto, I want to make sure I got that right with my little bit of Spanish background that I had when I was in college. What shocked me about this one was the fact that I was able to like right after listening to it, I was able to quickly relate it to a different song by a completely different band, so that everyone listening kind of gets an idea of where it's coming from, because you do intro it with that acoustic guitar, but it has the tone of like some more like classic Spanish Mexican inspired music. And I'm like, holy shit, especially with the title, this works out really well. But then as you build in and all of a sudden you get to add more of those heavier instrumentations to it, but they're still more melodic in the way, it really reminded me of the build and the flow of the song Pisces by Ginger. So you're going to get this like softer, more ballady, acoustic-y kind of thing going into the song, but then you're going to get this more heavy, but still melodic kind of feel throughout it. So you're going to bring that heaviness in there. It's gonna have that feel of a metal song, but it's going to be something different. And overall, I mean, I thought it turned out fantastic. It was the thing that stuck out to me the most on the album overall. And I like the fact that for those first 4 songs, you showed exactly who you guys are, who you want to be. And then that last one with Tu Me Muerto, you showed that you were able to experiment with your style with a couple other things as well. And that does leave the door open for many different experimentations and many different, just different things you can try going forward. So for an initial EP, I mean, you showed who you are, and you also left the door open to expand many other options.
Great, man. That's exactly what we wanted. That's what we were aiming for, and I'm glad that you said that, because that's seems to be so far what we've been hearing, man. That's it makes us feel damn good about this. I'm a modest person, man. I don't take compliments very well, man, but what I've been hearing about everything so far, it's very humbling, and it's been very good, man. And I'm just looking forward to hearing and talking to everybody else out there, man. It's just amazing, man. And it's not even out yet, So I'm all for the whole experience, man. It's been good so far, and I just hope it continues, because it's fun as hell, man. I don't know what I do without music, honestly. It's too important.
Same here. I don't know what I do without it. I mean, when I was going through the worst times in life, it seemed like at times the only thing that was there was music, and the only thing that got me out at some points was music. Of course, I had the help of family and friends, but at times when I was just feeling all completely alone, music was the only thing that was there for me at that moment. Hell, there was a time when I completely didn't want to listen to my favorite band anymore because I had so many different memories associated with the music. And I'm just like, and at one point I literally said, fuck it, if I'm going to survive this, I got to take that shit back. And The best way, so I gotta say this. If anyone is ever feeling like, you're losing some grip on your favorite band because you're having more negative memories associated with them and you want to get some of that positivity back and you want to take back your favorite band, the best thing you can do, go see them live. You're going to get this incredible rush of energetic euphoria and happiness that you're going to forget all about those bad memories and bad moments, and you're going to replace them with positive moments, positive memories. And then every time you listen to those songs, it's going to have a feeling of like redemption behind it. It's incredible.
That's some damn good sound advice right there, man. It's true. A lot of people have like their songs that they hear that remind them maybe of like a ex or something like that. And they don't want to hear the band. Screw that, man. Music's way too important, way more important than an ex. But yeah, that's some good advice, man. You go watch the band live and get that experience and see them in a new light. Sometimes what I'll do with bands like that is I'll just put it on the shelf for a while. I won't listen to it for a while. And sometimes even years later, fresh set of ears, listen to it again. And it's like new music, man. I've done that with a lot of bands that I like, man. And the experience is just great again. So, it's some pretty good information right there.
It's I believe it is sound advice, and that's why I can't wait for live shows to come back so that people get those moments after the pandemic. And Eric, I know you got potentially another call in about like 2-ish minutes now, so I don't want to keep you too much longer. I will wrap up the Runs on Hate EP with this overall saying, because I listened to the whole thing, listened to all 5 songs, and this is how I wrap it up. I'm going to look at my note sheet for this so I don't fuck this up. Overall, for me, everyone listening, my favorite genres are hard rock, punk rock, and metalcore. When it comes to like heavy metal, thrash metal, groove metal, not necessarily my biggest cup of tea, but big credit to Texas Taliban on this EP. Their mix of the thrash metal styles with the groove metal energy and the pacing is rather interesting that I know will induce a fun-ass mosh pit, and I want to be a part of it. Their ability to blend different pacings with vocals and instrumentals shows that fans of thrash and groove metal will really enjoy the energy put into this album. But that last song, Tu Muerto, is something from completely out of left field that flows perfectly at the end of the EP. Definitely worth checking out alone if you're into metal just in general. Overall, it'll be interesting to see how this band grows in the thrash metal scene in 2021 and how many injuries their mosh pits will cause. Hopefully, I'm one of those.
Oh, hopefully not, man. Hopefully, and if it happens, hopefully they pick you up and you're right, and you don't get your head cracked open like before.
If it happens, I'll still leave with a smile on my face. Don't worry about that, Eric.
Right.
So before we close this out, Eric, I always like to give the guest an opportunity to say any, final remarks, final words as we close this out. So Eric, the floor is yours.
Man, you know what? Just want to say thank you for taking the time out and talking to me, man. I like your format, like the way you started talking to me at first. I was definitely nervous at first, man, but you made me feel good. And this didn't feel so much like an interview. I like that we were just, shooting the shit at each other, man. And that felt good. And I really appreciate it. And I really I appreciate the kind words about the album, man. And I'm surprised you like that Tu Rey Muerto song the most, but hey, that's why we did it, because we know there's different people out there liking different things. And it means a lot. It means a lot to us, man. Everybody that says anything nice means a lot to us, even if they don't say anything nice, still means a lot to us. Fuck them, but it's still cool. But yeah, man, thank you so much and for taking the time. Eventually I'll get better at this. You're pro at this, man, so thank you. And hopefully we see you out there.
Hey, man, it took me 170 some episodes to get to this point, so thank you for the kind words, Eric. And of course, I'm going to end this podcast with my classic 3 things. For the fans, everyone listening, number 1, when it comes to finding Texas Taliban online, when it comes to streaming their brand new EP, when it comes to just buying some merch for a moment, following them everywhere you can. I know what you're thinking. Oh, where the heck can I find them? Do I have to search them up? I'm going to tell you, I already did it for you. Look in the description of the podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart Radio. You're going to see Find Texas Taliban online and then links to everything that I can find with labels so you can follow, subscribe to their stuff, buy their merch, stream their music, and support them any way possible. Now, the second one is always one of my favorite things. So, Eric, whenever I have guests in the podcast that I absolutely enjoy having on, I always make a promise. I usually make this promise every single podcast. I enjoy having guests on. And this one, no exception. I absolutely enjoyed it. So this is not an if, because it's a promise. It's a when I get to see Texas Taliban play live for the first time. Here's my promise to you, sir. First round's on me.
Oh, dude. I got the second, third, and the fourth.
Yes! Woo! I got the first. That's the thing. All right, Eric. So in all good conscience, I cannot end this podcast by saying goodbye for a number of reasons. One, I got a promise to keep, and I plan on keeping all those promises. So I can't say goodbye because that's kind of like a final finite, done
Right.
kind of thing. Don't want to deal with that. And two, I want to see you guys play live. I want to have you back on the podcast at some point in the future once again. So I can't end this with a goodbye. Got to end it with see you later.
See you later, man. Take care.
Well, folks, that was my interview with Erich from the band Texas Taliban. Also, when it comes to the audio, there's a little bit of a glitch thing in there. We try to fix it as much as possible. Erich's kid was also gaming at the time when the podcast had started, so we were trying to fix that by telling him not to game because he was also streaming, and we want to make sure that the audio and the video was as clear as possible. It was for the most part, so if it was an issue for you guys, I just want to let you know right then and there that we tried to do our best to fix it, but I want to make sure to bring you the band in the best light and Erich in the best light, and I think we did that because we talked about a lot of incredible things on this podcast. So remember, support your local band, support live music, because once we get back to live music in 2021, hopefully, which I am all in for, we're going to go nuts. So on that note, that's going to be for me today, guys. Thank you for watching and listening to the Chord Progression Podcast with the City Rocks or Rock and It'll Thrive. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single episode with a big, healthy, and hearty see ya! Yeah!